Good evening and welcome to Express Tribune's 6 p.m. bulletin. Thousands of mourners have gathered in the Iranian city of Tabriz ahead of the funeral procession for the late President Ibrahim Raisi. Iran's Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian and 6 others also died in the helicopter crash in the country's northwest on May 19, which occurred while the helicopter was crossing mountainous terrain in heavy fog. Mourners filled the streets carrying posters of the deceased and paying their respects to the late president. Police officers and Air Force personnel were also present at the gathering. Pakistan is observing a day of national mourning for the victims of the Iranian helicopter crash. The national flag will fly at half-mast throughout the country today. The day of national mourning was declared by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in solidarity with Iran and its people. A local Islamabad court has acquitted PTI founder Imran Khan in 3 cases, including the May 9 riots case. The acquittals include a case related to violations of Section 144 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. The court also acquitted former federal ministers Sheikh Rashid and Faisal Javed as well as several other PTI leaders in cases related to riots and violation of Section 144. The verdict stated that the evidence on record is not sufficient to prove the allegations against Imran Khan. It added that an accused cannot be deprived of their legal rights without a cause. Islamabad High Court Justice Mohsen Akhtar criticized the ISI for their perceived involvement in forced abductions and their overall role, accusing them of running the country rather than adhering to legal standards. This came up during a hearing about the disappearance of Kashmiri poet Ahmad Farhad Shah, whose wife had petitioned for his recovery after he went missing a week earlier. Despite the ISI's denial of having information about Shah's whereabouts, there is significant public outrage and calls for the government to secure Shah's return and hold accountable those responsible. The court directed the Ministry of Defense to submit a detailed report and order further investigation into ISI's involvement. Power distribution companies have proposed a tariff increase of up to Rs 2.48 per unit. The proposal cited a fuel charges adjustment of Rs 3.488 per unit for the month of April. The Central Power Purchasing Agency has filed a petition on behalf of XW Discos requesting permission from NEPRA to collect the additional amount from consumers. According to data submitted to NEPRA, the CPPA reported that 8,639 gigawatts of electricity was generated in April at a cost of Rs 79.55 billion or Rs 9.208 per unit. The petitioner has also decided to make a backward adjustment of Rs 3.06 billion, after which the total amount goes down to Rs 75.2 billion or Rs 8.98 per unit. Pakistan and Turkiye are looking to increase their annual bilateral trade to $5 billion. The countries are also intensifying their defense collaboration. Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar said the two sides agreed to boost trade to $5 billion in 3 years. The statement followed Turkish Foreign Ministers meeting with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Ishaq Dar in Islamabad. Pakistan and Turkiye have a long history of defense collaboration. They have also supported each other on core issues. Currently, the annual trade volume is just $1 billion. The two countries also discussed regional and global issues, including the ongoing crisis in Gaza. The Punjab Assembly passed the Punjab Defamation Bill 2024 amid strong opposition by protesters who demanded the bill be revised for perceived constitutional conflicts. Critics labelled the law draconian, fearing it would parallel the system and infringe on free speech. Despite opposition, Punjab Advocate General Khalid Ishaq defended the bill as a measure to curb false news by making accusers provide evidence. The session concluded with journalists and the Punjab Assembly Press Gallery boycotting the proceedings, and the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan criticized the bill for potentially violating judicial norms and freedom of expression. South Africa's Constitutional Court has ruled that former President Jacob Zuma is barred from running for parliament in this month's election. The court found that Zuma's 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court in 2021 disqualified him from standing in the May 29 election, since the country's constitution prohibited anyone given a prison sentence of 12 months or longer from holding a parliamentary seat. Zuma, who was forced to quit as president in 2018, has fallen out with the governing African National Congress. He has been campaigning for a new party named after the ANC's former armed wing, MK. Opinion polls suggest the ANC's majority is at risk after 30 years in power, and MK represents a real threat, especially in Zuma's home province where he is popular. US President Joe Biden has once again come to the defense of Israel, claiming that Israeli forces are not committing genocide in their military campaign against Hamas militants in Gaza. Biden made the comments at a Jewish American Heritage Month event at the White House. During the event, he stressed that Israel is the victim. He also emphasized that US support for Israel's safety and security is ironclad and vowed to continue trying to gain the release of sick, elderly, and wounded hostages still held by Hamas. The US president rejected the International Criminal Court's prosecutors' request for arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense chief over war crimes allegations. During Yale University's graduation ceremony, hundreds of students staged a walkout in protest of the ongoing conflict in Gaza. The protesting graduates demanded a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, an end to US military support for Israel, university divestment from companies profiting from the war, and amnesty for those disciplined for protesting. This protest at Yale is part of a larger wave of demonstrations of over 60 colleges and universities across the US, ignited by recent escalations in Gaza that have seen significant casualties. Meta reportedly approved a series of AI-manipulated political adverts during India's election that spread disinformation and incited religious violence. The adverts were created by India Civil Watch International and ECO Corporate Accountability Organization. They were designed to test Meta's mechanisms for detecting and blocking political content could prove inflammatory or harmful. A Guardian explosive report found that 14 of the 22 adverts submitted were approved. The approval came despite the inclusion of AI-manipulated images and language that went against Meta's community standards, hate speech, and violence. The adverts included known slurs towards Muslims, Hindu supremacist language, and disinformation about political leaders. One advert even called for the execution of an opposition leader, falsely claiming they wanted to erase Hindus from India. Scarlett Johansson has accused OpenAI of using a voice eerily similar to hers for its ChatGPT 4.0 system named Sky. Johansson revealed she was approached by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman in September 2023 with the opportunity to lend her voice to the AI. However, she declined the offer due to personal reasons. 9 months later, Johansson was shocked to discover that the Sky voice in the released ChatGPT 4.0 demo sounded strikingly like her own. Feeling her likeness was exploited, Johansson has taken legal action, demanding transparency and clarity on how OpenAI created the Sky voice. OpenAI has acknowledged the concerns and temporarily paused the use of the Sky voice.